Hello, brothers and sisters. Michael, humble seeker of truth, for two very faithful witnesses. We've been talking lately about the sign of Jonas, the prophet / Jonah. I just noticed, interestingly, from Matthew 12, it's on page 802, 803. It's 40 pages from Jonah to 40/41 from Jonah. Of course it is. It's an ordered communication. All right. Matthew 12, verse 39. He answered and said unto them, An evil and adulterous generation seeks after a sign. There shall be no sign given it, but the sign of Jonah the prophet. The wicked end-time generation is getting one sign, the sign of Jonah the prophet. And we've been talking a lot about that lately. Prophet Jonas here. Verse 40, so that'd be 124, it's 1240. 124 points to the first month, 24th day. That's 410 on Father's calendar, 415 on theirs, which we're not going to talk a whole lot about that today except for one thing. Let's just talk about it. Well, we'll talk about it when we get to it, the notes. Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay. So 1240 is 124 and 240, which is 4 times 10 times 2 times 3 for 410, 23. So it's an exact 410, and it is the 24th day of the first month. Counting from the equinox is the counting point, 317. Next day is day 1, 318. Makes 410 the 24th day of the first month. Okay. For as Jonah, verse 40, was 3 days and 3 nights in the whale's belly, so shall the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. We know, of course, this applied to our Lord, and it's an end-time figure, because it's talking about the end-time wicked generation in figure. The Nineveh, verse 41. So this would be 1241. That's 124, same thing, and 41.0, 410. They both pin the exact same thing, and they both double pin it. The men of Nineveh shall rise in judgment with this generation, and shall condemn it, because they repented at the preaching of Jonas. And behold, a greater than Jonas is here. Verse 42, the queen of the south. And so this is Great Tribulation, 42 months of Great Tribulation. The sign of Jonah leads right up to it. All right. That's mega review now. We've been talking a lot about that. Oh, gosh, wait till you see what Father has handed us for today. So I think what we're going to do, I'm going to read just a little bit and make a point, and then we're going to look at the breakdown of a couple witnesses. We're not talking about the two witnesses as far as Revelation 11 goes. We're talking about two faithful witnesses that testify of this sign of Jonah the prophet. Many are looking down the road now, kind of, well, it wasn't this Passover, it must be second Passover. Maybe it is. Here's the thing, though. We don't just pick the next feast day because it is one. There is a second Passover, but why? Why do they have a second Passover? It matters. It's for people that were on a far journey and couldn't get back, and it was for people that had been, first and foremost, for people that had been exposed to a dead body. And they were unclean, and so they couldn't do the Passover. Well, what is... Death is coming, and that suggests great tribulation, because it's associated directly with death, Satan, and thus being unclean from a dead body. That doesn't mean it's impossible that it's the rapture / beginning of Great Tribulation. But I'll tell you what, to look past what we're going to look at today, I think it'd be a mistake. So, Jonah. Let's pick it up in verse 1. 1:1. Now the word of the Lord came unto Jonah the son of Amittai, and saying, Arise, go to Nineveh, that great city, and cry against it, for their wickedness is come up before me. Now we know Jonah said, yeah, sure I won't, and took off to Tarshish, which was about as far away as you could get from where he was. It was also like going to Vegas. Very decadent place. And so, yeah, he bought his ticket. Didn't get shanghaied, in other words. He bought his ticket, and he headed to Tarshish. Now we know Father caused a great storm. And pick this up in verse 17. Now the Lord had prepared a great fish to swallow up Jonah. And Jonah was in the belly of the fish 3 days and 3 nights. You think maybe it was dark in there? So, directly associated with the black of night or darkness. Let's go chapter 2, verse 1. Then Jonah prayed unto the Lord his God out of the fish's belly, and said, I cried by reason of my affliction unto the Lord, and he heard me, and out of the belly of hell cried I, and thou heardest my voice out of the belly of hell. Cried, and I heard my voice. Thou hadst cast me into the deep, into the midst of the seas. And the floods compassed me about, all thy billows and thy waves passed over me. Then said I am cast out of thy sight, yet will I look again toward thy holy temple. The waters compassed me about, even to the soul. The depth closed me round about. The weeds were wrapped about my head. I went down to the bottom of the mountains. The earth with her bars was about me forever. Yet hast thou brought up my life from corruption, O Lord my God. When my soul fainted within me, I remembered the Lord, and my prayer came in unto thee, into thine holy temple. That they that observe lying vanities forsake their own mercy. But I will sacrifice unto thee with the voice of thanksgiving. See, that's our sacrifice, is our praise and our worship. So to cause the sacrifice and oblation to cease is this, at least this. And it doesn't have to be anything else, like old school. But I will sacrifice unto thee with the voice of thanksgiving. I will pay that I have vowed. Salvation is of the Lord. And the Lord spoke unto the fish, and it vomited out Jonah upon the dry land. So we got 3 days in darkness, and then deliverance. And the word of the Lord came unto Jonah the second time, saying, interestingly, it's 510 verses from Daniel 9:27 to get to Jonah 3:1. Now, a guy could say it's first Jonah, so it's the only Jonah, but it's not inaccurate to put a 1 in front of it. I'm just saying, it makes it 15:10, which the decree is 15:10, and that whole fig tree thing getting struck by lightning, 144-year-old fig tree, 3/2/19, 1,510 days to the hybrid eclipse on 4/20. We're going to review that briefly in the middle of this, and we kind of just did. Is that a stretch? Yeah, it is. It's pulling a day count from Daniel 9:27 and saying first Jonah. I'm just noticing. I just noticed it. We don't have to hinge this teaching on it, believe me. Wow. Okay. And the word of the Lord came unto Jonah the second time, saying, Arise, go unto Nineveh, that great city, and preach unto it the preaching that I bid thee. That's 3:2. Now, if you've been following along, I've said about a couple hundred times, at least, on March 2nd, 2021, Almighty God told me to tell the world, yet 40 days, and judgment will fall on this earth. 40 days later was 410 in Jerusalem, and he said count 3:2 as day 1, specifically. 410 was the 24th day of the first month, and 40 days from when he gave warning. I was going somewhere with that, but yet 40 days. Okay, same thing, and that's exactly how it was said. Yet 40 days in judgment, 4941.0 in Strong's, 49410. Because the judgment is Satan and his angels getting cast out of heaven. He's going to use wickedness, evil angels, to bring judgment on wickedness while opening the eyes of the lost sheep. Arise, go to Nineveh, that great city, preach unto it the preaching that I bid thee. So Jonah arose and went unto Nineveh according to the word of the Lord. Now Nineveh was exceeding great city of 3 days' journey. Oh. And Jonah began to enter into the city a day's journey. And he cried and said, Yet 40 days and Nineveh shall be overthrown. Now, that it's kind of reversed a little bit here, but the 40 days has already been given. Is it possible that from a point that there's another 40-day warning? It's not impossible. We don't know the day and hour. But I'm going to show you something so exacting. Once again, as we've already seen the exactness of the sign of Jonas, this is even more so, or makes it even more so, and until we're past it, then, once we are, we'll consider different applications. So we got 3 days in darkness, then 3 days to get there, and then another day. So 7 days total. Oh, watch what Father does with that. The moon goes dark for 3 days. And that happened to be 419, 420, and 421. Then we got 3 days into the city, 422, 23, 24. And then he began to enter the city a day's journey, 425. And if we journey through that day, it would bring us to 426. Or 426 there, 425 here. I don't know, but he marked 410 out by making solar noon 1240. That's 124, 24th day of the first month, and 240, 4 times 10 times 2 times 3. Okay? So, what did he do? Did he do something for 419 to 426? Because if he did, and he made that an exacting part of the sign of Jonas, that becomes extremely interesting, at least to me. So as we're going to look mainly at new stuff, just a little bit more review. Mainly look at new stuff after the review. So we saw the couple signs that Father has used for the sign of Jonas. Now somebody messaged me, if I'm going to talk about the sign of Jonas the prophet, I better research like what happened. Like the guy didn't even get swallowed down to the belly of the whale. It's a figure. It doesn't have to be exact. Okay, the guy got swallowed into a whale's mouth and spit back out. We're going to consider that a possibility. And notice I didn't jump all over for the last 2 years, son of Jonas. No. But now Father has made it so exactingly specific, we know for a fact that it is indeed part of the sign of Jonas the prophet. As we do with Jonah Handler. I'm not going to review all that. It's in the last couple videos. But, oh my gosh. And we noticed between the two signs was 14 days. And that would bring us from 410 to 424. And that'd be the 3 days and 3 days. 3 days of darkness, 3 days to the city. And he began to enter in a day's journey. Oh boy. Okay, so we noticed that Matthew 12:40 is where he says this generation's not getting a sign except the sign of Jonas. And that's 124, first month, 24th day, and 240, 4 times 10 times 2 times 3. And we noticed that solar noon on 4 9 and 410 was 1240. Okay. There's 1,000 things that tie to 1,000 things, and to break it down so that it's not an ocean of numbers that we drowned in, and enough information that it drops jaws is challenging. But I pray about Father ordering it, so I'll shut up and try to let him do that. Well, I can't shut up, I guess. So scrap that. Okay, Jonah 1:17, 3 days, 3 nights in darkness. Well, the moon was dark 419, 420, 421. Okay, and then we got 3 days to the city, 422, 23, 24. Days, by the way, is number 2304 in this account, in Jonah. Elsewhere in the Old Testament, it's number 3117. Here it's 2304, which just happens to be full circle and 23rd day of the 4th month, pinning exactly that. Three days journey is number 4109. There's our 410 and 10 and 49. Okay. It's also 4, Jesus Christ, and 109. Well, it happens to be that 419 is the 109th day of the year. So he pins the beginning point. he's later going to pin the beginning point and the ending point 7 days later. Mind-blowingly, exactingly. And of course he is. Alright, so this is a really busy chart, and it's easy to get lost in them, so let me kind of lead you through it, which I'm doing, I guess. So we have this overall picture of how we get why we're using those days, because it starts with the dark moon, and then how it brings us to 425/426. Jonah. 3:2. Arise and go unto Nineveh. Arise. 240 times is number one use. 4 times 10 times 2 times 3, tying to what we just talked about. Matthew 12:40 and solar noon at 12:40 on 4:10. So the thing with this is it ties to the John 11, and he abode 2 days still. So 4:10:21 to 4:10:23. Okay, but for the count of the sign, the 3 days of darkness, we're going to start with the moon. He still is going to ever pin 4:10, 4:9, 4:10, as we just saw with the word journey. And then he also takes it to this with that 109. Okay? So arise and go. 32:12, first place Father took me. New oil, Deuteronomy 32:12. Okay, which is 21 in 32. Which is when he said, tell them yet 40 days. So he sent me as he sent Jonah. Yeah, and I was figuratively in the belly of a whale / the lion's den. And the numbers actually prove that out. 184th verse, Gematria, my name of Daniel, is him getting thrown into the lion's den in Daniel 6. And this does that too, but we're not worried about that. So go unto Nineveh, the great city, and preach unto it the preaching that I bid thee. Bid is the same word as speak. It's taken from the same Strong's number, same original word. Speak unto the rock, and it will bring forth his waters of Meribah. After 4:10:21, when we didn't go in an instant like we thought we would, he said, son, he gave me an open-eyed vision and said, son, I got this. These are your waters of Meribah. Don't make the same mistake Moses made. And then he sent us to the waters of Meribah. 4,320th verse in the Bible, Numbers 20, verse 8. Speak. Number 1696, unto the rock, and it will give forth his water. That's Satan and his angels. It's flood waters in figure for the end. Then it was water they could drink. In the end, we know waters are peoples, multitudes, nations, and tongues. / Satan and his angels. Oh yeah. 4320 happens to be 3:2:32 in 40. On March 2nd, he bid me tell them yet 40 days, which was speaking unto the rock. Now, of course, he's going to stamp it so that you know it's not just me saying that. Number 1696 is divine order times 184, Gematria, my name, plus the 40-day warning. He said that's what he bid me to speak. It's used 1,144 times. It was always 1143, but now we scroll down farther and it's 1144. And we know this 144 is going to tie in. The reason I'm taking the time to show you these numbers is they're in the two faithful witnesses. that we're going to look at. And of course they are. So what do we got? We got 114 and 144. Well, 144 is 4 times 2 times 3 times 2 times 3. 114, well, Genesis 114 is the first use of at the appointed time. He's coming at the appointed time. Moed, divine appointment. First use is Genesis 1:14. He put the sign, moon, sun, moon, and stars in the heavens for signs and appointed times. Divine appointments, seasons, divine appointments. Which is number 4151. It's 4150. Sorry. 4151 is spirit. 4150 is divine appointment. Okay. We're going to get to that. Okay. So, what do we have here? It's 223 times. We're in 2023, which is full circle in 223. You think maybe this year there might something happen, like maybe Christ returns, gets his bride, and apocalypse begins? Well, yeah, we're pretty confident of that, but we've got it a lot more narrowed down than just the whole year. But what do we have here? We have 415 full circle. That is the 24th day of the first month on their calendar. Number 4151, by the way, is spirit. And it's used as spirit 124 times. First month, 24th day. I don't know why I keep bringing that into it. 4150. So we got 415, full circle, their feast day, which he hates. And we got 5 grace, Abba in 410, his 24th day of the first month. Okay. So first use of that ties into that stuff. The 410 and 415, highlighting that difference. Now, several months ago now, and I started looking last night to see if I could figure out when. If any of you guys can figure it out, that would be a huge blessing. The moon clock. So my son and I were driving into the far land one day, and he says, "Dad, the moon's a clock." And it literally was exactly a clock, and it was set at 9:36, 9:37. It wasn't a digital clock. It had hands on it, which were made of clouds, and perfect hands. Well, little did I know, and he had me say it. I mean, that is exactly how I said it. It's 9:36 or 9:37. Let's look at Psalm 8, 9:36, 8, 9:37. 8 is new beginning. So Psalm 89, verse 36. Verse 35, verse 34. My covenant will I not break, nor alter the thing that has gone out of my lips. Once I have sworn by my holiness that I will not lie unto David. His seed shall endure forever, verse 36, and his throne as the sun before me. Verse 37, it shall be established forever as the moon, and as a faithful witness in heaven. This is 146 verses back from Psalm 100. And that's 32 plus 63, my birthday, plus 51, Michael. I tell you that because it's the moon clock. And he showed me the moon clock. And then stamped who he showed. He does that constantly. It's gorgeous. All honor, praise, wisdom, might, power, and glory be unto Almighty God and His Son, Jesus Christ. Verse 37, it shall be established forever as the moon and as a faithful witness in heaven. We're going to, now we know why did he put the sun and moon up there? What's one reason? Signs. For what? Seasons. Signs for appointed times in context. Signs in appointed times. And the signs point to the appointed times. In case that wasn't clear the first time I said it. Okay, so the sun and moon are faithful witnesses as signs pointing to the appointed time. And the Lord will return at the appointed time. Paused at 31:23 and then 31:24 when I put it back on. That's Jonah, is 31:24, taken from 31:23. 31 message, 124. 31 message, 123 would be 4:9. 124, 4:10. Ever pinning that, it completes that 2 years, and then he works off of that, bringing into the sign of Jonas and tying it all together. Psalm 89:37. And as a witness. So, and as a faithful witness, but the words and as a witness is number 5707. Daniel 5:7, the 144th verse of Daniel. Let's read it. Does that mean it's what the 5:7 means? Maybe it means May 7th. People are looking at that. In Esther, we saw a huge pattern for May 6th. For 5/6. But we're not looking there yet. That very well has everything to do with the lost sheep. I'm not looking there yet. You can look there all you want. I don't mean to speak for you. Sorry about that. Okay. Daniel. It's in here somewhere. So, the fact it's the 144th verse, and it says this: the king cried aloud to bring in the astrologers, the Chaldeans, and the soothsayers, and the king spake. Number one use of that, by the way, that's that bid or speak. That's number 1696 we just looked at. First use of that's 840 times. 4 times 10 times 21. So first he said, he bid me to say yet 40 days, and then he bid us to call for the Lord and make declaration for Satan and his angels to be cast out. By Father's plan, by Father's power, in and through his Son. He just told us when to pull the cord. He put the hook in Leviathan's jaw and told us when to pull the cord. Threw it down. The king cried aloud to bring in the astrologers, Chaldeans, soothsayers, and the king spake and said to the wise men of Babylon, whosoever shall read this writing and show me the interpretation thereof shall be clothed with scarlet and have a chain of gold about his neck, and shall be the third ruler in the kingdom. 5:7, verse 144, which happens to be 4 times 2 times 3. times 2 times 3. 423, 23. Okay. First use of this and as a witness happens to be Genesis 31:44. 31 is message, 144. So now he just panned 5:7. If that is Daniel 5:7, it's the 144th verse. Because it's talking about the interpretation. The answer. Psalm 113:3, we know it says, from the rising of the sun until the going down of the same. That speaks sunrise, sunset, day length difference, and every number associated with that. That's the faithful witness. Psalm 113:3, day 113 is 423. But we got this other 3 right here, don't we? So that would bring us for, let's see, day 113, 423 plus 3 is 426. Okay. Oh, this is wildly interesting. If I have time, I'm going to break this down and show this accurate through the numbers. So day length difference. Off of the equilux. Equal light and darkness. Or off the equinox. It doesn't matter. It's the number that applies. Let's see. On 425, it's 144. On 426, it's 144. What is 4 times 25 times 23, by the way? Well, 4 times 25 is 100 sheep getting divided. And 4 times 26 is 104. 4 times 25 times 23 is 2,300. How often do we read? He'll just say days a lot of times. But he says days and nights specifically for the sign of Jonas. Let's go to Daniel 8:13 once. We're right here in Daniel. That worked out well. Thanks, Father. 8:13. Then I heard one saint speaking, and one saint speaking. And another saint said unto that certain saint which spake. It's number 1696. I bid thee. Same thing. How long should be the vision concerning the daily sacrifice and the transgression of desolation to give the sanctuary and the host to be trodden underfoot? Now we've seen the numbers regarding that stuff, and it's very telling. It's exactly what we've been talking about. Not reviewing that right now. Verse 14. And he said unto me, unto 2,000 and 300 days. Oh, it doesn't say days and night here. Okay. It still applies. Just that subtle point is gone. My bad. And he said unto me, unto 2,300 days. Oh, I know what it is. It's got the little number by it. And if you go to the side note, its literal meaning is evenings and mornings. Do you know that's not talking about a 24-hour period? That's talking a point in time. It's talking about twilight, the break of dawn. The first hint of light is a point in time where that darkness meets the evening, meets the morning. Unto 2,000, well, we know from Psalm 40 when 1,000 years becomes yesterday in thy sight, and as a watch in the night. So 2,300, we got 2,300, 2023. Oh gosh, I had this so much math better when I had the numbers in front of me. We're going to leave it at this for right now, and we'll cover it more later. 2,300 unto 2,300. So, when is the host going to be given to be trodden underfoot? That's Great Tribulation. At the removal of the floodgates. And it happens at 4 times 25 times 23 at the 2,300. Ooh. If nothing else, I find that very interesting, especially tied to this. Okay. Worthy of note, from Daniel 5:7 to 8:13, how long shall it be? It's 92 verses. 4 times 23 is 92. We also know that ties to 920. Is come up. Jonah 1:1. Arise, 1:2. Arise, go to Nineveh, that great city, and cry against it, for their wickedness is come up before me. Come up. Is come up. Is number 5927. That'd be 92 in 57. From Daniel 5:7, 92 verses to 8:13. Just again, showing his ordering. It's going to get so specifically exacting. If you're lost right now, I apologize, but don't worry about it, because you're gonna see what it is. My tongue's a little tight today. This is glaring. I keep pointing at it and I didn't say it. On 425. Moon set is the moon clock. So I made this chart. Hopefully you can read it. It's a little messy. So we got the moon over here and the sun over here. And we're just looking for numbers that provide witness. So I could write all these numbers in and it'd just be So we're just focusing on the most important ones. So we got moonrise, moonset. When it passes the meridian, the distance and degree, and you'll be able to tell, and the illumination. And then we got the sun, we got solar noon, the distance, day length difference, and then the beginning of twilight, that first or the end, the first hint of light or the last breath of light into the night. Okay, so on 49410 we saw that solar noon was 1240, tying exactly to the sign of Jonas, pinning first month 24th day is 410, because 4 times 10 times 2 times 3 is 240, and we got 124 and 240. We talked about that a bunch. Day length difference was 153 on 49410. Just setting this up. So if we didn't catch that, we might not be paying attention to this right now. Day length difference 1.53. from the eclipse on 11/8/2022, it's 153 days to that hybrid eclipse on 4/20. 4/9, twilight began at 4:54. That ties to me through the numbers that have to do with me. But it's also going to full circle in here, and that's why I bring it up. 32 plus 63 plus 248, man, I was born, plus 60, my age, plus 51, Michael. Okay, so that's old news, but it ties into the rest of this. So we're going to pick this up at what we looked at. 4/19, 3 days of darkness. That's when the moon's dark. Then 3 days journey to the city, and then entering in a day's journey. So 7 days. Starting with the black moon. 4/19. You see these X's here? Moonrise, moonset. Through these days, they're same day. So like moonrise might be 8 in the morning, moonset 10:30 at night, but same day. Same day, same day, same day, same day, same day. This number is key. We're going to get to that. Oh my gosh. And all of a sudden, when we get to the moon clock, it splits. There's the moon rise at 9:37, but no moon set same day because it is after midnight, and it changes at 4:25, 4:26 at the moon clock, which is the 7th day from 4/19. 4/19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. You probably didn't need me to do that, and I'm sure that was a great big help. Okay, into 4/26, and moon set. So we go moon rise the 25th, moon clock, moon set the 26th at 12:41.0. Tying back to this. Okay, exact tie, full circle, pointing first month, 24th day on 4/10, pinning that, and to the sign of Jonas in verse 12:41 in Matthew. So we go sign of Jonas, full circle. What else we got that speaks? 4/19, the first day of that black moon. 4/19, day length difference, 1.49, which is 4 in 19. Prophet used 149 times, which is who he's bidding to say, tell them yet 40 days, and then make declaration. 4/20, the meridian passing. Distance, 23,441.51. 2023, we got 415 that he's hacked off about, and 4151 is spirit. Initially, I was thinking that was Moed. So, anyway, it's not. Dark moon, 421, still dark moon. 423, and it's 24,031.23 distance. Well, Jonas is number 3124, taken from 3123. And it has the degree that goes with it, 84.0 degrees. 4 times 10 times 21. when he told Jonas, all right, 123 is 4-9, 23rd day of the first month. 4-9, 4-10, tied exactly to Jonas. Illumination, boom, 12.4%. First month, 24th day. It's about tying it to the sign of Jonas. Okay, and we're at 423 now. Twilight ends at 8:40. Oh my gosh, is it both the moon and the sun, same witness for the sign of Jonas. It's breathtaking. We get to 424 and we see this, it's the moon said it's at 303 degrees. So what? I have pondered this number for a couple years. Why is it 303, Father? Why is what 303? The word. And the word of the Lord came to Jonah. Number 1697. And a thing was revealed unto Daniel. Number 1697. Taken from 1696 that we already looked at. That's the calculation that brought us to the exact moment of declaration, 4:34 p.m. on 4/9. First use is 8:07. Second is 2:31, which pins 4/9, 23rd day of the first month. Together they're 10:38. And at the time, he said, it's 0.2 short of 104, 10th day of the fourth month. What's 0.2 of a day? 4.4 hours, 4.48 hours. Take that off a nautical twilight, and we came up with 4:34. Little did I know that it was exactly pinned in How Art Thou Fallen, 434 times, and in Daniel 9:25. 7 sevens, 4 nines, 62 sevens, 434. Exactly the day and time of declaration. I didn't know that. It was an obscure calculation that he led me to. Then he stamped it as his. He does that a lot. I bring this up because we're about to look exactly at it. 303. All the rest of the entries are 303. So what he just did then is he pinned day of declaration, the day and time, with that word or a thing. And now on 424, as we close into this, he gives us the 303. The rest of that, and screams through it. Oh, what time is twilight beginning on that day? Because you know he's not going to leave it at one witness. 4:34. What? Boom. Oh my gosh, Father. Seriously. What time did twilight end? That would be 8:41.0. 1 in 840, which is 184 full circle for me, and 1840 for Daniel. It's also 84.0, which we've talked about, the 840, and 410. Oh, then, so we go from that to the moon clock on the 7th day, 425. Day length difference, 144, because it is part of the interpretation. 144th verse of Daniel. So he just pins Daniel. 144th verse is that 5-7. If you can tell me the interpretation thereof, because nobody could. On 425, on that 7th day, twilight begins. That first break of light at 432.0. That's 4320. Full circle tide of the waters of Meribah. What? When you combine this on the 7th day, 6th and 7th day, exactly fitting Jonah's. Now, if it's not this day, once again, signs can point to things. They can mark things out exactly that day. They can point to things in the near future or distant future, but not in this case. Oh, I'm just so jaw-dropped by that. Now, 426, which this would bring us to. God is number 426. And moon set 1241.0. Full circle tie. Matthew 12:41. The men of Nineveh shall rise up in judgment. When? Oh, I don't know. I might consider 425, 426, though. Exactly fitting Psalm 113. 423 plus 3 is 426. Faithful witnesses. Now, you might think we're done right here. No, not quite. Because now we're going to go back and we're going to look at what we looked at the last couple videos briefly. It's more than just review, though, because we have more information now. Oh, my gosh. So this we talked about at the beginning, the 144-year-old fig tree. How old was the fig tree? Oh, tie to the waters of Meribah, tie to the fig tree, ties to the decree. This matter, 417 and then 423, is by the decree. Number 1510, fig tree gets struck by lightning. Figure of Satan, and falls over 3219, 1510 days to that hybrid eclipse, 420. Daniel 419, because that is when the moon went dark and began our count. Then that's number 116, which is 426. So we go 419 to 426. And Daniel's what? 1841. Ezra. .410 is the 104th verse, is a double pin on that. And then on this side 14 times, and the river 14 times. Because from 410 we went 14 days to 424. Tied into the middle of that account. The numbers we just looked at. But notice this. now, and when. Let's go there. That's just absolutely jaw-dropping. Excuse me. Ezra 4:22 is verse 116. So to get to 4:23, it's 116 to get there. And then, now in the copy of King Artaxerxes' letter, I'm reading the wrong verse here. Nope. Now in the copy of King Artaxerxes, let's read it. Letter was read before Rehum and Shimshai the scribe and their companions. They went up in haste. Figure, went up in haste, snatched away. Now, when? Well, now is number 116. Didn't we just see then is number 116? And now is 116. First use, second, third. Full circle tie. Now, when? Oh my gosh, back-to-back words. This is 109 times pinning 109th day of the year is 419. 2, now 116th day of the year is 426. 7 days to get there. If you count this as day 1, which we are, it's 7 days, and then that journey brings us to that. And he marks it both ends exactly. Oh, man. That was close. Sorry, guys. My battery was about to die, and it would have cut this whole video off, and I had to start over. So, made it. And then it was on a switched plug, and it wasn't on, and thank you, Father. I caught it, so I was able to move it. So we're good. So let's keep going. Ezra 4:23, they went up Jerusalem by force, or by force and power, snatched away in figure for rapture, in haste. Now, when pinning 419 to 426. We just saw that. Then, also pinning 426. I was going to show you something else here. Then, verse 424. Then ceased. Then ceased. See, to cease the work of the house of God is the beginning of great tribulation. It's when the 99 sheep go home, because while we're here, we're building the house of God, which is the believers. Every time a believer's added, the house of God is added to. That is building the house. Literally. Okay, so then cease the work of the house of God, which is at Jerusalem. So then number 116, pinning 426, cease the work of the house of God. Oh, what? 2 witnesses.
426 is the 116th day of the year. And very possibly 425, 426. Rapture / apocalypse, or a sign pointing forward. We'll know when we know. The Lord Jesus Christ is coming any day, any minute. I don't know the day and hour. Even if I did, I don't know that I do. He is coming to get his bride, the 99 sheep, at the first trumpet. They are the floodgates. And when they're removed, the flood of enemies will immediately begin, which is great tribulation. Then ceased the house. Then ceased the work of the house of God, which is at Jerusalem. Which in review, first use Ezra 4:9, second 4:10, hits 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, then to 23 and 24. And then the 25th verse, 425, is 5:1. There is no 425, it's Michael. Because we know Michael stands up at the river and is tied exactly in with the sign of Jonah. Thus the two guys, Michael and Jonah. And that would be 425. I hope you guys are as blown away as I am. Wow, Father. Wow. I love you guys. Glory to God in the highest. Glory to his Son, Jesus the Christ. Blessings to you. See you soon.